Tonight, Christmas tragedy strikes a Claremont family with their home destroyed. A police officer escaped serious injury after being mowed down by a vehicle. Roads closed in Hobart after a multi-vehicle crash. 6 rock climbers rescued from Cape Hoy this morning after unsuccessful attempts yesterday. The 75th Sydney Hobart Yacht Race is underway. And tens of thousands of fans pack the MCG for the Boxing Day test.
Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Hedger begins now.
Good evening, everyone. A Claremont family has had their holiday celebrations ruined after a fire deemed suspicious tore through their home in the early hours of this morning. Fire crews rushed to the property but were unable to save it, leaving the devastated occupants with nothing but the clothes they were wearing.
A beloved family home gutted by fire. Emergency service personnel on the scene in the aftermath of the serious fire at Narillin Street this morning. Anybody with information about the incident is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Ebony Ablett, 7 Tasmania News.
A police officer has sustained minor injuries after he was allegedly hit by a vehicle he'd intercepted in the Huon Valley early yesterday morning. It's understood the officer was patrolling the area at the time, with the alleged offender still on the run. Our reporter, Ruby Kamane, has more from the scene.
Here along this stretch of the Huon Highway near Glendevi, police allege an officer was struck down in a deliberate act. Police say the uniformed officer was patrolling on an unmarked motorcycle when he intercepted this alleged vehicle towed away this afternoon.
As he stopped the bike, the vehicle reversed into him, knocking him off the bike.
Information can also be provided anonymously through Crime Stoppers.
Emergency service personnel were called to a multi-vehicle crash in Hobart this morning. The incident occurred shortly before 9 a.m. on the corner of Harrington and Davey Streets. The impact caused one of the vehicles to roll, with Harrington Street closed between Davey and Macquarie Streets while the car was towed. The scene was cleared and reopened to traffic just after 10 a.m. No injuries were reported as a result of the collision, which is still under investigation. 6 rock climbers have been rescued by emergency services this morning after a nervous overnight wait for help. The group was climbing the Candlestick near Fortescue Bay in the south before sounding emergency beacons at 8 o'clock last night. However, unsafe conditions grounded rescue efforts until early this morning. One female member of the group suffered rope burns to her hands and was taken to the Royal Hobart Hospital for treatment. Despite predictions of a slow race, the 75th Sydney Hobart fleet is setting a cracking pace after a trouble-free start. 5 hours into the Blue Water Classic, race record holder Comanche is the leader, despite being the last of the Supermaxis off the line.
Blue skies, a moderate nor'easter. You couldn't wish for better conditions.
That's what 157 competing yachts look like as they get set to go.
And maybe 2 days away.
A real cause to win line on.
And Amber Laidler joins us from the Cruising Yacht Club. Amber, Comanche's still in the lead. What about the other Supermaxis?
Louise, it's Comanche followed by Infotrack, Wild Oats, Blackjack and Scallywag. They are all now south of Jarvis Bay and they're all now travelling at least 20 knots. We are expecting those transitions later tonight. They could really shake up the leaderboard. So a very interesting night ahead for the Sydney to Hobart, Louise.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Amber. The Boxing Day test has again proved it's the jewel in Australia's cricket crown, with more than 80,000 fans packing the MCG for day one. Plenty of them were Kiwis, as New Zealand made its first appearance in 32 years.
It's Christmas for cricket fans and thousands queued for hours, even before the gates opened at 8:30. One day down, 4 to go. Tom Chadwick, 7 News.
Fire crews in New South Wales have spent the day building containment lines, trying to stop the mega blaze causing further devastation. Conditions are set to worsen next week, with winds expected to fan the fires directly towards more homes.
We're driving a kilometre into the bush along an old logging track north of Bell's Line of Road.
We need to hold this line.
Stay with us, still to come in our broadcast tonight. Young royals steal the spotlight at Christmas Mass. From president to ice hockey player. And concerns for bushfires burning across the state. Welcome back. With temperatures set to rise across the state this weekend, there are concerns about several bushfires currently burning in the southern region. The 6 blazes are at no alert level at this stage. However, the Bureau of Meteorology says the heat may bring on more lightning strikes. The Tasmania Fire Service is also reminding the public of a statewide total fire ban likely to be issued on Sunday and Monday. Prince George and Princess Charlotte have stolen the spotlight, attending a Christmas church service with the rest of the royal family. Prince Philip wasn't there, but his son Prince Andrew was, sneaking in before crowds arrived.
The sun was out at Sandringham.
Tom Johnson will join us for the day's sport news later in the bulletin, with Steve Smith standing tall for Australia in the Boxing Day Test. Ben Simmons dominates on Christmas Day in the NBA. And find out why Liverpool's manager isn't happy. Those stories shortly, but first after the break we take a look at the day's headlines. And then Tasmanians open up their wallet to snap up a bargain. And one of Australia's most iconic celebrities spooks the nation to the world. Welcome back. These are some of the stories making headlines tonight. Christmas tragedy as a family home is engulfed by flames. A police officer lucky to be alive after a hit-and-run incident. Road closures in Hobart's CBD after a prang. And authorities rescue 6 rock climbers caught in trouble at Cape Hoy. Thousands of Tasmanians have descended on shopping centres and opened their wallets for an annual shopping frenzy, the Boxing Day sales. Retail groups predict it will be one of the biggest sale years ever, but it wasn't all good news for one major shopping chain who suffered a nationwide EFTPOS outage.
Forget Test match cricket or the Sydney Hobart yacht race. For many, the biggest event of Boxing Day is bargain hunting.
It's a bit of an addiction, I think. Just going around all the stores, spending a lot of money.
Back overseas now, and Christmas Day in Hong Kong was marred by more clashes between pro-democracy protesters and police. The riot squad chased demonstrators through the streets, arresting those they could catch. They used tear gas and fired rubber bullets at those they couldn't. Hong Kong has been in turmoil for more than 6 months. A controversial extradition bill sparked the initial protests, but it's become a more general pro-democracy campaign. Tens of thousands of worshippers have crammed into St Peter's Square to hear the Pope's Christmas message. Pope Francis called for a softening of cold and stony hearts and paid special attention to the plight of children around the world, particularly in the Middle East and Africa. And sports next with Tom Johnson. Good evening, Tom. Matty Wade's been in the wars at the G.
Oh, we've seen a battle, Louise, but a great catch got him in the end. Full highlights from the Boxing Day Test is next. Also coming up, we meet 2 American cyclists who have had a slight hiccup ahead of the Launceston Christmas Carnival. And the LA Clippers had the last laugh in a Christmas Day battle. Welcome back everyone. It's been a riveting start to the Boxing Day test with Steve Smith standing firm against New Zealand. Sent into bat, Australia reached 4 for 257 at stumps. Smith's unbeaten on 77 with his first half century of the summer. It took all his skill to repel the crafty Kiwis.
Almost 80,000 filed in. Ground staff took extreme measures to prepare a test standard pitch, and Australia was sent into bat.
Pretty happy we lost the toss, to be honest. I wasn't too sure what to do.
And there's more cricket to come here on 7 Tasmania tonight. The Big Bash continues straight after the news with the Perth Scorchers hosting the Sydney Sixers. To the rest of the day's sport news now, and tomorrow night's Launceston Carnival will feature some American flair, with 2 cyclists making the trip down under for the series. One is a former wrestler who was convinced to make the big trip by a travelling Tasmanian. Hours after landing in the state, the Americans were stretching their legs in the suburbs. Only problem, they're in Hobart, not Launceston, where they'll need to be tomorrow night for the carnival. The Super Maxis are flying down the New South Wales south coast in the 75th Sydney Hobart yacht race. A short time ago, the yacht tracker showed Comanche still leading the 5 Super Maxis well past Jarvis Bay. Infotrack, Wild Oats 11, Blackjack and Scallywag are giving chance. Comanche overcame a poor start to hit the front and sail away. The 2-time Line Honours winner is a downwind specialist. Her rivals will hope for a weather change and predict a tight tactical battle all the way to Hobart. They currently are projected to finish around this time tomorrow night. And that is it for sport, Louise.
Wonderful, thank you for that, Tom. Chelsea will join us after the break with the weather forecast.
Good evening everyone. Temperatures above average today with Burnie 28, 27 degrees for Launceston and Hobart and Devonport 22. 25 in Ouse today, Friendly Beaches and Grove 22, 21 in Smithton, Low Head, St Helens and Lyowini and Flinders Island reaching 19 degrees. Low level cloud about the southwest and east today, while high level cloud moved over the Bass Strait. Across the rest of the country, thunderstorm clouds can be seen over far North Queensland and northern Western Australia. A mid-level cloud can be seen over central WA. Tomorrow, a high over Tasmania with multiple cold fronts over far south of Western Australia. Easterly winds about the north and northeast tomorrow, 10 to 20 knots, tending northeasterly in the afternoon. Hobart, sunny and 21, Huonville 23 and 25 in Campania. In the north, 27 in Launceston, Devonport 21 and partly cloudy and 24 in Georgetown. Burnie and Wynyard 21 tomorrow and 22 in Strahan. And in the east, St Helens 18, possible morning drizzle and 19 in Swansea and Port Arthur 19. UV tomorrow is extreme with 11s across the state. Looking on to Saturday now, mainly fine although very hot across the state. Fine and mostly sunny on Sunday with light winds. And on Monday, very hot, showers and possible thunderstorms extending from the northwest. Cloud clearing in Perth tomorrow, Adelaide 39, 26 in Melbourne and partly cloudy in Brisbane. And currently Hobart, sunny and 21, Launceston 27 and sunny and 25 in Devonport. And that's the weather tonight, Louise.
Wonderful, thank you for that, Chelsea. That's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us tonight. Have a lovely evening. Good night.
Well, Comanche was late, no doubt